Ragnar Lothbrok, Between History and Legend. Recently, we explored the true history of the Peaky Blinders and saw how the series differed radically from the real story. Today, I'm doing the same with Ragnar Lothbrok from the Vikings series. Whether you've watched the show or not, if you think you know everything about this Viking warrior, think again. The true story of Ragnar exists at the boundary between reality and legend. Ragnar Lothbrok likely lived between 750 and 850 CE during the Viking Golden Age. According to legend, he descended from King Sigurd Ring, a hero of Norse mythology who himself was said to be a descendant of Odin. Yes, Ragnar, like nearly every self-respecting king, was supposedly from divine descent, which gives you an idea of the legendary status of this character. Just like in the series, Ragnar Lothbrok was a formidable and ambitious warrior with a thirst for discovering the world around him. His prowess in battle earned him the title of Jarl of Denmark, a Jarl with a J, which is equivalent to an earl or count. His most notable achievements were his expeditions to Northumbria, a kingdom located between what is now northern England and southern Scotland. These raids gave him a terrible reputation in the expanding Christian world of Europe. Ragnar had a habit of raiding villages on Sundays. Why Sundays? Because everyone was at Mass, making churches easy targets. He continued his expeditions and raids across numerous Saxon kingdoms. The England you know today didn't exist at that time. The territory was divided into many small kingdoms including Northumbria, Essex, Wessex, Kent, Sussex and many others. After his campaigns in England, Ragnar's ambition led him to seek new lands and riches further south in Francia, early France, which looked nothing like the France we know today. This led to Ragnar's greatest military achievement. With about 100 longships and several thousand men, he landed in western Francia, specifically in Neustria, modern-day Normandy. Yes, the Normandy landings date back much further than Wout. They quickly reached and sacked the city of Rouen before using their ships to sail up the Seine toward Paris. The siege of Paris began in 845, with Ragnar attacking the city on Easter Sunday, clearly understanding that Christians tended to lower their guard on holy days. The Frankish king Charles the Bald helplessly watched part of his city burn. Only a generous payment convinced the Vikings to turn back. A legend was born. But all good things must come to an end, so let's talk about Ragnar's death. We don't really know exactly how he died. There are two versions, one glorious and legendary, the other less glorious but more probable. According to the legendary account, during one of his expeditions to Northumbria in 865, he was captured by the local king, Aella, and thrown into a pit filled with venomous snakes. The other version suggests he died of dysentery, a severe diarrhea, certainly less heroic but more plausible, especially since venomous snakes weren't common in northern England. With such an eventful life, Ragnar had numerous wives and consequently many children, some of whom also became legendary figures. If you've watched the series, you probably know among his wives Lagertha, and among his sons Sigurd Snake in the Eye and Ivar the Boneless. His most valiant sons returned years later to avenge their father's death. They landed in Northumbria, captured King Aella, who had executed their father, and killed him in turn using the Blood Eagle execution method. Those who have seen the series know what I'm talking about. It involves cutting open the victim's back and spreading the ribs to form wings. Except this procedure never actually existed. It was invented by Christians to make people fear the Vikings. Speaking of things that never existed, we might ask, did Ragnar Lothbrok really exist? The answer is both yes and no. He most likely existed but falls into what historians call semi-legendary kings, as Ragnar remains a great mystery for historians. Like most Nordic historical figures of the time, the Vikings had a tradition of oral rather than written transmission, and as you surely know, oral accounts inevitably change over time, which has complicated matters considerably. The sources relating Ragnar Lothbrok's adventures all date from between 900 and 1200 CE. That's 100 to 300 years after his death. and since they were written exclusively by Christians about a pagan, objectivity is questionable. It's highly probable that Ragnar Lothbrok's story is actually a blend of stories about other warriors from the same period. He has been given several identities, such as Horik Thifur, a Danish king, or Jarl Reginherus, who became known for his expeditions to Northumbria and Western Francia, much like a certain Ragnar Lothbrok. Ragnar's story isn't a lie, but it's been heavily romanticized, exactly like in the series. Many characters from the show did exist. We've mentioned his wives and children, but there's also his brother Rollo, another semi-legendary character who wasn't actually his brother and probably lived about a century after Ragnar's death. What does align with the series is that Rollo conquered Normandy and became Duke of Normandy by pledging allegiance to King Charles the Simple, becoming Robert the Fern of Normandy. Yes, the Normans have Viking roots. There's also his explorer friend Floki, known for discovering Iceland, although in reality the two men probably never met. I know I'm breaking your dreams again, but that's how it is. No reliable source allows us to confirm Ragnar Lothbrok's exploits as historical fact. He remains an amalgamation of Norse legends and achievements sometimes accomplished by others, all of which formed the legend of Ragnar Lothbrok. Thanks for watching.